Let's go. Let's go. Come join us. Come jam with us. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm extremely wealthy now. I'm extremely wealthy now. And so successful. And so successful. Enjoying endless bliss now. Enjoying endless bliss now. Now and always. Now and always. I'm extremely wealthy now. I'm extremely wealthy now. And so successful. And so successful. Enjoying endless bliss now. Enjoying endless bliss now. Now and always.
Now all together. Come join us.
We extremely wealthy now. We extremely wealthy now. And so successful. And so successful. Enjoying endless bliss now. Enjoying endless bliss now. Now and always. Now and always.
Let's go.
We extremely wealthy now. We extremely wealthy now. And so successful. And so successful. Enjoying endless bliss now. Enjoying endless bliss now. Now and always. Now and always. We extremely wealthy now. We extremely wealthy now. And so successful. And so successful. Enjoying endless bliss now. Enjoying endless bliss now. Now and always. Now and
always. Righty, Kay. Thank you so much for joining us. And we just love it. Awesome stuff. And the good thing about that song is it instantly shifts you into the state of the wish fulfilled. So maybe you're not feeling too good today, or you're a little bit out of state, or you may be feeling stuck. When you listen to it, immediately puts you in a wish fulfilled. Because you said, I am wealthy now, I'm successful, and I'm blissful. You know, isn't it wonderful? Absolutely wonderful. And it's free. It literally takes only a few seconds just to get grooving. You know, just to get grooving. You don't even need to know how to dance. All you have to do is just move your shoulders like this and just smile and just jam and just go with it. Just allow your body to do its thing. It's all good. It's all good. Having said that, happy blissful day.
Happy blissful day.
Blissful beings.
Blissful beings.
And in today's video, we're going to take some time to answer all your questions.
Indeed we are. So this first question comes from DFP79. And they say, how to make manifesting multiple desires at once easier. So their desires that they want to manifest are married to the SP, easy and luxurious life, debt-free, multi-millionaire, wildly successful business, and their dream life. And part 2 is, how do I implement this throughout the day? Please and thank you.
Yeah, I actually love that question because we always share with our one-on-one clients, and we encourage them to manifest multiple things at once. The reason why is because sometimes if you only focus on manifesting one thing, some of us tend to put that thing on a pedestal and we make that our life. And we lose sense of life. And we just kind of become so complacent. But however, when you manifest multiple things and you start seeing, because the cool thing about multiple things is you start forgetting about these things. And then you just see, oh, manifesting, showing up in the 3D, and it's like you just ticking. Because now you're like, oh yeah, of course, I'm a master at manifesting, and all these things always show up. So whatever I say goes, right? So I really love, that question. Now to answer the question is, you just, is it DF?
DFP79.
Yeah, DFP79. You just have to accept that you are now the person who has it all, right? You have to accept that I am the person who has it all. Now, if you think about it, there's should be like a few people in your life that actually has it all. If you think about it, I've got friends that actually has it all. They're married, they debt-free, they're successful, They seem to really enjoy life, and they just freaking awesome people all around. They are people that have it all. So you have to become the person who has it all right now. You have to accept that you are this person. Now, how do you implement this? You ask yourself, okay, now that I am the person who has it all, how do I feel? How do I act? How do I think? How do I go to bed at night? How do I wake up? Right? And how do I now relate to other people? What do I share on social media? What do other people now tell me on social media as well? So when you answer all those questions, you know exactly who that person is. And once you have a clear picture of who that person is, just accept that you are it and remain faithful, to it by now thinking from it. You just have to think in your favor. On a daily basis, just know that you are now that person. So you do not have to try to become that person. You do not have to do this, that, and the other to be that person. No, you are already that person, and now you just live from that new assumption in your imagination. When you remain faithful to that new version of yourself in your imagination, it will then reflect in your 3D.
Yeah, and when we first kind of started our coaching, we also had this belief that, it's better just to focus on one thing at a time, because then it can become seemingly more complicated and what. But then we realized that when we or our clients were focusing on one thing, like Gabriel said, it was so obsessive. Whereas when you manifest multiple things at once, seemingly big and small, that's when you start to see movement. And that's when, because you're not obsessing about just this one thing. And it also gives you that confidence to say, wow, look, I manifested that and that. Okay, so I am in control. I am the creator. I am the operant power. And it just gives you that boost of confidence. And you see things start to almost like, how do they say, like snowball. Like once it starts, then it just keeps going and going and going and building. And yeah, I also agree that when it comes to implementation, it's becoming that person who has it all. So what is your life like now that you are married and successful and have this ease and all of that? Like, who are you now as that person? And, we like to emphasize that because it takes the focus off the 3D. It takes the focus off what do I have, and puts the focus on self. That this is like, who am I as this person? Because as Neville Goddard says, like when you change your conception of yourself, your entire world changes. And so it's not like when you change your view of what you have in the 3D, then it's going to manifest. No, you change yourself. And so like Gabriel said, who am I as the person, if you want to label it, who has it all? And that's what's going to make those 3D changes. And that's what I think is so beautiful, because then the 3D doesn't matter. You don't see it in the 3D, you look to yourself.
Indeed. Thank you, baby. Absolutely. Because the 3D is simply reflecting yourself.
Exactly. So this next one is from Janvi?
Yeah, Janvi Sharma.
Janvi Sharma. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. So their question is, should we repeat certain affirmations every time, or can we go on a rampage every time we think of our desires? Or should we alternate between set of affirmations and rampages? Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Good question. Well, I used to do both, rampage, repeat affirmations over and over and over again. But when we both understood that, we actually have to just accept that we are the person who now has our desire. And then as long as you can accept that you are the person who has your desire, for example, just to give an example, you're trying to manifest your SP. If you accept that you are in a relationship with your SP now, boom, it's a done deal. And then after that acceptance, now you can use any method or technique you wish that feels natural to you. So the technique is really just to remind you that you are already that person. So you should never use the technique to, just 1 second, give me 1 second.
You should never be dependent on that one technique or use that technique as this is how I'm going to manifest it.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
No, what I was going to say is that you should never use a technique to try to manifest. Because if you're going to use a technique to try to manifest, you are actually telling yourself that you do not have it. And so you're in a state of wanting, you're in a state of lack. So now when you're in a state of wanting and lack, and if you try to use affirmations, any technique, method, you're going to remain in a state of lack and want. That's why you know people that have been trying to manifest for years and months, and they still can't seem to actually manifest that because they are trying to manifest it. Now, in your case, what you want to do is you want to accept that you are the person who has your desire. And after your acceptance, you can now ask yourself, okay, what feels natural to me? Affirmations, sets, visualization, whatever the case may be, then use that. So you want to use that just to fulfill yourself. In other words, you want to feel that, oh yeah, of course, it's done. So whether that's going to take a second, a minute, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. As long as you know that you are the person who already has your desire. So in other words, you are already in Barbados and you went first class. So to answer your question, you can use any method, tool, or technique that feels natural to you.
Yeah, I know I found so much freedom once I came to that realization, and kind of once that clicked for me. Because for myself, I don't know, I'm quite quiet, a bit reserved. It's just, my naturalness. And so for me, rampaging, that it just doesn't fit. To me, it's not natural. I've never done it before. So now I'm trying to force myself to do this thing. Whereas for me, visualization, I can visualize the whole day long. For me, that is what is natural for me. And so I love that freedom to say, okay, it's not a one-size-fits-all formula that we try to apply to manifestation, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. There is that idea of, yes, you have to know what you want and accept that you are that person. But after that, whatever tool or method, it does not matter as long as you've accepted and you use that thing maybe to help you or to remind you that you already have your desire. And I think that can be so freeing for some people. Instead of trying to visualize, if they can't visualize, it's okay, then don't do that. What works for you? Maybe affirmations. That's great. Use that.
Indeed. Thank you, babes.
All right. So the next one is from Janice. And they say, how to keep the faith. Thank you.
Oh, how to keep the faith, yeah. So in order to keep the faith, you have to know who you are, right? You have to know who you are. So you are not just your name, and you're not just your body, and you are also not just your thoughts and your feelings, but you are the awareness. So in other words, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So your body does not manifest, but your awareness manifests, your imagination manifests, your 4D manifests. Yeah. So now when you understand this, knowing that, oh, okay, so let's call this power within you higher self or God self, right? It's within you, it's not outside. Very important to understand, it's within you. So when you have a desire and you accept that you have it now, you know that, oh, okay, cool. And when I accept that I have it now in my 4D, it's a done deal. And it then reflects in the 3D because you've accepted it in the 4D. So, because the how is not your problem, the how is not your job. You now know that, okay, my higher self has already sorted it out. My God self has already sorted it out within. I can now enjoy my life in the 3D. I can go about my day. I can enjoy things that gives me fulfillment and also joy and pleasure and happiness in the 3D. Well, whether that's going for walks, watching Netflix, eating chocolate, ice cream, whatever gives you joy in the 3D, do that. And then now you're allowing your higher self or your God self to actually sort out, the what needs to be sorted out for you. And in order for you to keep the faith, you have to trust your higher self or your God self and just say that, of course, you got everything, sorted and handled out. And I trust you, I have faith, and I'm just now going to smile, chill, and enjoy my 3D.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, it's that aspect of being just able to enjoy the 3D because you know that everything else is taken care of. I think it's easy to lose the faith when you are the one who's trying to control it. Like if Kylie is trying to make a plan, figure it out, I'm doing all these things, that's when it's easy to lose the faith because I'm not trusting that inner power that's there, that God self, higher self, universe, whatever you want to call it. And that's when it's like, you know what? I don't trust that. I'd rather just do it on my own. And so I'm going to try to do that way. And that very rarely ever works out for me. And so that's when I always get reminded, like, Aish, I can't do this on my own. I need my higher self. I need that divine power, whatever you want to label it. And that's when it's like, that reaffirm, like, okay, yes, my higher self has my back. My higher self's got me. And that's when it's like just that continuous renewed faith, I would say.
Indeed. That's why we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So just surrender everything to spirit and enjoy your human experience. And know that spirit will sort out everything for you.
All right, so this one is quite interesting, at least to me. It's from Amanda Francis. And they say, so I understand ignoring the 3D reality when it comes to undesirable things, such as a lack of money, but what about health? It's harder to visualize being out of pain and healed when the pain is constantly interfering with your thoughts. Is there any advice, please?
Yes. Thank you for that question, for sure. That is definitely much more challenging, is because you are actually feeling, the pain in your body. So your body and the 3D is one and the same thing. So in order for you to manifest your desire or your perfect health in your body, you just have to accept that, okay, my body is now perfectly healthy, it's whole and it's complete. And you accept that that is done. So once you've accepted it, of course, the old story that you've been telling yourself about your body, like, maybe, whatever the story is, let's just say the story is, oh man, this pain, it's so unbearable. It's been with me for so many months, years. I just hope that one day it will leave me. And you're constantly telling yourself, these stories in your mind, in your imagination about your body. And of course, your body is only going to reflect what you're telling yourself. But now suppose you now take this opportunity right now and you say, okay, I accept that I am now perfectly healthy, whole and complete, and my body is perfectly healthy, whole and complete. Thank you. It's done. So now that's your news story. So you just have to now remain faithful to that news story. So now your body is obviously still going to react to the old story. So now what do you do when your body reacts to the old story? You don't want to ignore it, because if you ignoring your 3D, it's like you are running away from your life. Your 3D is part of your life. You have to acknowledge the pain, be with the pain, just become aware of the pain. So I'll give you an example. So not too long ago, I had some problems with my teeth and my gum. And so what I did was I acknowledged the pain and I became aware of, the pain. And when I became aware of it, the pain actually subsided. It became less. Now, why is that? Is because I did not identify myself with the pain. I identified myself with my awareness. Now, my awareness is my true self. Which is infinite and limitless. So the moment you become aware of your pain, you'll see that it will actually, subside. And but it may not happen instantly for you, because this is one of those things that you have to practice and become used to it. But now the good news is, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Because now you're actually giving and surrendering the pain to your higher self or awareness, whatever you want to call the power that is within you. You're now surrendering it to higher self, right? And then higher self will now sort everything out for you, because it's very important to understand that you are no longer identifying yourself with the pain, because you're not saying that I am feeling the pain. I am feeling the pain, right? You are now acknowledging and becoming aware of the pain. And when you become aware of the pain, it subsides. And now, with that awareness, you express your gratitude that your body is now perfectly healthy. And that's how you remain faithful. Now, what will then happen is, your body is now going to respond to your new story of perfect health. And you will see that the pain will now slowly just go away, because of your new assumption, what you are now telling yourself about your body. So if you tell yourself that your body is perfectly healthy, your body is going to respond, because your body always does what you tell yourself in your mind, in your 4D.
Yeah, I know for me, I've shared multiple times with my skin, it was like covered in acne, it was inflamed, it was so painful even to like lay on a pillow, even to wash my face during COVID times, to wear a mask. Like, it was excruciating. And like you rightfully said, it's hard to ignore it when it's literally like paining you, or even for me to see it every time I go into the bathroom, by a window. You're constantly confronted by it. And it was learning in a way to say, okay, even though this is what my 3D senses perceive, this is what my sight perceives, my feeling perceives, I know that this is not the truth. The truth is that I am perfectly healthy. I have perfect skin. And, we like the metaphor of, if you go to a restaurant, you put in your order and then you relax. You're talking to your friends, you're just having a nice conversation. You're not worried about, as we say, that how. That's that area of surrender. You're like, okay, I know my meal is coming. I've placed my order, it's coming. I know that right now, even though right now it's not right in front of me, I know that I don't need to worry about this because it's done. Maybe a couple minutes later, boom, there's my appetizer and I'm good to go. It's that thing of saying, okay, maybe even though I don't perceive it with my 3D, I know in the 4D it's done. And so it's just constantly reminding yourself that it's done. It's done. It's already a done deal. There's no more pain and I'm good to go. Like Gabriel said, when you acknowledge the pain, whether it be an emotional pain or a physical pain, once you kind of like see it for what it is, it naturally starts to dissipate. I know for myself, if I've ever been in an emotional place, it's just to process it. I'll say, Gabriel, this is how I feel. And as soon as I acknowledge it and let it out, I feel so much better. And it's same with you have like a physical pain. You're like, hey, okay, I just stubbed my toe. Ooh, I stubbed my toe. And you just kind of like, okay. And then you're good. It's just processing and acknowledging whatever the 3D is throwing at you, physical or emotional or mental or whatever trigger or pain is coming up. Don't suppress it and don't just nope. Suppress it. Acknowledge it. Don't suppress it. And it naturally dissipates and you feel naturally empowered.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. All right. So the next one from Joanne McAloon. What do you guys think of revision? Do you do it?
Yeah, we personally had loads of success with revision.
Yes.
Yeah, revision is actually it's a powerful tool because it just again proves that the reality that we perceive is malleable, and there's not really like, past, future, because with revision you get to go back in time and you can fix whatever did not go accordingly. So for example, to give you an example, I've shared this in this video, not in the past, I've shared it with you guys, but for those that do not know, I've also shared it in my book as well. But for those that do not know, I think a few years ago, my mom went to hospital and the doctor told her that it's not looking good, seems like you're gonna get cancer and blah 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 and all that. And I also spoke to the doctor over the phone, and the doctor said, hey, listen, it's not looking good, seems like your mom has contracted cancer and blah 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 blah. And so I spoke to her over the phone, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then afterwards, when the call ended, I still imagined I spoke to the doctor, and I heard the doctor say, hey Gabriel, your mom is perfectly healthy. But now bear in mind, I knew the voice, how the doctor sounded, so I just imagined the same voice telling me on the phone in my imagination, hey Gabriel, your mom is perfectly healthy. Hey Gabriel, your mom is perfectly healthy. And I repeated that scene until I felt, okay, yeah, it feels real to me now. And then I dropped it. And then my mom had to go for a checkup the following month. And she went, and guess what the doctor told her? Hey, you're perfectly healthy. And it was such an awesome celebration. But of course, it was just so powerful to me to witness how powerful we are, and especially this tool called revision as well. And I was like, wow, I had to share this there. That's why I actually put it in my book as well. And it's just so powerful. I mean, like, we were obviously happy. My mom was happy. My family was happy. And we were like all celebrating, rejoicing the fact that, boom, no more cancer. It's just, gone. And that tells you that you are the creator of your reality. Whatever you say goes. So if you have any situations in the past that did not go according to plan, all you need to do is go back to that memory and then just hear or see what you want to see, or just hear or see in your imagination what you want to experience. Repeat that over and over until it feels real to you. Drop it, go about your day, and you will see that, boom, it will just autocorrect.
Yeah, I love revision because, like Gabriel said, there's not really a past or a future, but let's specifically look at the past. Like, the past only exists in memories that you bring up in the present moment. And so I'm sure you guys, like myself, if you've experienced something with someone else, you kind of remember it a bit differently than that person based off your own perceptions, maybe where you were exactly. I mean, I know for Gabriel and I, we'd, think back to different times and be like, oh, this is what I remember about that day. And Gabriel says, well, I don't really remember that, but this is what I remember of that day. And it's the same day, the same instance, but we kind of remember it slightly differently. And I think that just shows the way that memories can be very subjective. And so I'm like, if we can experience the same thing but remember it differently, surely I can change this memory and just remember it differently. And that's essentially what revision is. It's like, okay, even though this is what I heard or saw or experienced, I'm going to change my perception of that and change almost like the memory and rewrite it. And it's almost like when you rewrite that memory, it plays out now in your present to be in line with that. And that's exactly like what Gabriel said. Okay, he changed that moment, that call from the doctor. And then next thing you know, in his next present moment, it aligned with what he had revised to. Because you've kind of like changed that part of the timeline. You've gone back, erased it, wrote something new. And that's what gets to play out today. And so, yeah, I think it's very powerful. I think depending on your emotional connection to the moment, it might be seemingly a bit more difficult or it might be very easy. But it's definitely a tool that people can use, and we also use it.
And I just want to share one more success story based on revision. A couple of weeks ago, we were basically in a situation whereby it was almost as though we got a surprise. So we paid for something, and we obviously expected to get what we paid for. But then the person surprised us both and say, "Oh, by the way, you have to pay for this." We're like, "No, we already
like an
paid."
extra charge.
Yeah, an extra charge. We're like, "No, we already paid." And I was furious. I was pissed off, to say the least. And because I was like really just kind of venting and all that stuff. And it's very good to actually just when you have these episodes where you kind of just a little bit fuming, furious, pissed off, whatever the case may be, do not suppress it. Because I used to do that. I used to suppress it, and oh man, you have to, when you suppress it, it's like like keeping a bottle of champagne, closed and stuff like when you're gonna take that cork, or it's gonna, so you want to be with those, emotions, because remember, we are all human beings, so we experience the good and the bad, so it's very important to be with both. And so I was just feeling into both and becoming aware of it. And then afterwards, when I became aware of my frustration, it just subsided. And then what I then did revision, and I heard the person say, "Hey, by the way, you're not going to pay anything. We're going to sort out everything for you. Everything is perfectly fine and it's in order." So I repeated that in my imagination until I felt like, oh yeah, now I'm satisfied. It feels natural. And then I dropped it. And then the following day, the person sent me a voice note and say, "Hey, Gabriel, you're not paying for anything. Everything is sorted." So I shared the good news with her and we celebrated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I love that too, because it's such a recent example.
Yeah.
And it just, it completely altered the timeline, if you could say, because we didn't accept it. Or
Yeah.
you didn't accept it. And that's what played out. All right, so our next question, second to last question, is from Leander Joshua, who says, "How to manifest a celebrity love?" I love this one.
How to manifest a celebrity love. So first of all, when we look at celebrities, we were actually conditioned to put them on a pedestal. And so when you put someone on a pedestal, you immediately like making yourself, smaller than them. So when it comes to manifesting them, it will be a little bit challenging because you're going to feel that you're not worthy of being in a relationship with them, or you're going to feel that you do not deserve them because you've put them above you, right? So number one is take them off the pedestal. The celebrity is just another human being. The celebrity is just like you. Celebrity is just like me. As a matter of fact, you are celebrity and they are also celebrities because you are very important. You're special, you're a blissful being, and you're amazing. You are a celebrity. So take them off the pedestal. Now, whoever you want to manifest, whichever celebrity you want to manifest, you now have to accept that you are in a relationship with them right now. You have to accept that you are with them right now. So accept that you are with them and you're both watching this video. Just see it in your imagination, that you're with your celebrity, and see how that celebrity is just so all over you. They're crazy about you. They just want to kiss you, want to cuddle you. They're like, "Oh, I'm so crazy about you. You're the best you're the best person that I've ever met. You're so freaking amazing. You're down to earth and you're real. You're just so genuine. I just love everything about you." So now you hear the celebrity just telling you this, and you just repeat that over and over and over and over again in your imagination. Remain faithful to that. Make that your news story, and it will reflect. I don't know how it's going to actually show up in your 3D reality. Maybe you'll have like a friend that knows a friend, and then boom, next thing you know, that friend knows the celebrity friend, connects you guys together. Or obviously, I am not your higher self or your God self. Your God self is going to sort out the how for you. Your job is just to accept that you are with this celebrity now, and you guys are in a relationship, and it's going freaking amazing. Do not try to manifest them. Accept that you are with them right now.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people say, like, in that whole idea of, okay, well, it's harder to manifest a celebrity because they're a celebrity, they're not a regular person. But like Gabriel said, it's take them off the pedestal. They are just a person. At the end of the day, they're still people. And so it's the same as manifesting any other SP. It's still just a person. And I think it's also changing our perception of manifestation, that there's no big or small manifestations. It's just a manifestation. Like we say, like $1 or $1 million, it's the same thing. A celebrity SP or the person, your next door neighbor, it's the same thing. You're still just creating your reality as the operant power, as Gabriel said, you are the celebrity. You are the one who's in control of everything. Everyone loves you. You are that operant power. You have that control to create your reality. And so it's also understanding it's not like this is big and this is small. In manifestation, it's just a manifestation's a manifestation. That's it. And I mean, there's plenty of stories of celebrities, as they say, celebrities dating normal people, or celebrities who married normal people, when really it's just a person married another person. And so obviously it's not impossible because you're creating your reality. And so I think it's just taking them off the pedestal and seeing it as just another manifestation, just like you manifest a bird landing over there in the garden. Same thing.
Same thing. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. All right, and the final question from this session, it's a bit long. Shall I read it all?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this one's a little bit long.
Just bear with us.
Okay, so it's from Butterfly Empress 777. I'm struggling with being clear on what I want. I've been separated for 2 years from my narcissist husband. Sold our house over a year ago. He refuses to pay out our debts or settle any assets or custody or support payments. This man and his family have tortured me so bad over the past 10 years. I'm also struggling with my health, trying to recover from PTSD from what I went through. I need things settled financially, quickly and fairly, as I'm having financial hardships. I want full custody of our son, and because he is not a good parent and doesn't want to raise him. He only wants to hurt me and not pay support. What could be a good, clear vision, new story, new state at the end? I'm not clear on my desire because I'm trying to mess with the middle. Yes, you are. Remember, the how is not your job. I'm trying to mess with the middle. How I could possibly have a life where things are settled, I have my share in the financial assets, have full custody, and never have to deal with him again. Honestly, I've come up with this trying to visualize living in the end as if I'm a widow, since we're legally married. Alright, so this one is essentially getting that clarity to say this is this big situation which sometimes life throws at us. And it's like, okay, how do I get what I want? How do I get that clarity of my desire in this situation?
Right. Yeah, and you made your desires very clear, that you just want that financial freedom and full custody. So you just have to see yourself right now as the person who has all the financial issues. It's sorted out. Your partner, your husband has already sorted that out, and you are financially free, and you're perfectly healthy, and you have full custody of your son as well. So now I want to ask you, if everything, all your financial issues has been sorted out by your husband tomorrow, right? Just imagine that, or not. Let's not use tomorrow. Let's rather say that I just want you to imagine that all the problems that you've listed there has been sorted out last week Friday. So last week Friday, you got confirmation that everything has been sorted out. The financial issues, and you now also have full custody, of your child as well. I just want you to imagine, how will that make you feel? Probably so relieved or free, right? So now all you need to do is accept that you are that person now. So you have to accept that you are the person that is now financially free and that has full custody of your child. And just now that you've accepted that you're that person, now ask yourself, how do you think? You're obviously probably so grateful, you so free. How do you act? You love spending time with your child, and you don't have that animosity between your husband, because now you've already forgiven him, because everything is obviously been sorted out now, right? Because as the saying goes with forgiveness, when it comes to forgiveness, you're not actually forgiving the other person, you're just forgiving yourself, because you know that I don't really want to get into another rabbit hole here, but our 3D is simply reflecting us. So because let's just focus on this part. However, when you do forgive, you're not actually forgiving them, you're forgiving yourself. So we're talking about the person that now is experiencing the freedom, the financial freedom and full custody, with their child as well. How does that person think? How does that person act? How does that person feel? So now you've got a clear picture that, oh yeah, I feel so relieved, I feel so free, So now you just have to accept that you are that person now, and just accept it in your imagination, and express your gratitude that you are that person in your imagination on a daily basis. And what will happen is your 3D will then reflect your new story. You will see that your husband will automatically change, all the financial issues will be sorted out, and you'll have full custody with your child as well. So your job is just to accept that you are the person that is now experiencing your ideal.
Yeah, I love what you kind of alluded to at the very beginning there of, okay, how would it feel? When it comes to any of our desires, there's always, at the end of the day, it's not so much that thing that we're after, but the feeling that we're going to get maybe once we have that. And so, yeah, just inferring, a lot of this seems to be about freedom, just being free from this situation, being financially free, no longer having to deal with that. And so at the end of the day, it's yes, you're after all of these things, but at the same time, it's that seemingly freedom or maybe peace or whatever emotion that we're seeking. And so it's okay, slowly allowing yourself to feel that, let's call it freedom for now, feel that freedom now. Because, when we're constantly dwelling on certain things, that's what's going to continue to manifest. So when we're constantly dwelling on, but this is still happening, I hope this gets resolved, but it's still happening, you're just perpetuating a narrative that's playing out in the 3D. But when we come to a place where, we start to say, okay, no, I'm choosing, maybe in spite of my situation, I'm free. I feel free. And the more we start to shift into that area, then freedom starts to manifest in our surroundings. And that could mean the custody issues, financial issues, marital issues, all of that stuff starts to get resolved because you've chosen, instead of dwelling in the situation, but to dwell in freedom. And it's applicable to any desire that we're trying to manifest. If we're trying to manifest wealth, maybe it's probably also freedom. Or if we're trying to manifest a partner, it's love. We're seeking that love, that acceptance. And so if we're constantly looking for a partner to feel love, you're saying, I don't have love in my life. And so then that's what's going to keep manifesting. But if you choose to say, okay, maybe in spite of my situation, I feel loved. I love myself. I feel loved. I feel loved by the barista who smiled at me when I got my coffee today. I feel loved by my co-worker who complimented my outfit. You start to choose to feel a certain way and see that around you. And when you start to dwell in that, then you see, okay, then there's a bit more love comes into your life, a bit more love, a bit more love. Or like you said, freedom. Maybe once you choose to not dwell in that situation anymore, I think, that and choose what you actually want and accept, like Gabriel said, what you actually desire and become that person, that free person, that's when you see, like I said, that snowball effect. A little sprinkle of freedom, then a bit more freedom, and next thing you know, you're completely free and loving your life.
Indeed. Just accept that you are your ideal right now, and let us be the first to congratulate you on your awesome, perfect ideal.
Yes.
We actually congratulate you that everything is now perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Everything that you desired, perfectly fine. So your job now is just to accept that it is a done deal, and as we just shared, with you right now. And the beautiful thing, we can tell you with certainty, when you accept it in your 4D, the 3D changes automatically. As Neville Goddard said that, when you change your conception of yourself, how do you view yourself now? What do you believe to be true about yourself? Do you believe that you are the person who has your desire now, or do you believe that you do not have your desire? So just shift to the person who has your desire now. And he continues, he says, when you change your conception of yourself, the world that you live in will change automatically. So your 3D changes automatically. And then he goes on further to say that, do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. So in other words, you're going to accept your ideal right now. You don't have to lift a finger in the 3D. Just accept your ideal right now. Remain faithful, and the 3D will now respond to your new story that you're telling you. And you're going to tell yourself that, yes, I am the person who has my desire now. And I'm remaining faithful to it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whatever you call that power within you, like we like to call it higher self, but it's within you. It's not outside, it's within you. Whether you want to call it higher self or God self or universe or awareness, whatever you want to call it, you just say that, thank you higher self for sorting it out. I can now just chill, relax, and watch some Netflix and have some chocolate. Just relax. Know that your higher self will sort out everything for you. The how is not your job. You just have to enjoy the now. Right? Do things that you enjoy. Is that going for a walk? Do that. Drinking wine? Do that. Whatever you enjoy in the 3D, do that. And allow your higher self to sort out the how for you.
Yeah, and I think it kind of relates to most questions, but that thing of, do not try to change people. Because when we focus, again, it's like trying to change the 3D by going to the 3D. Maybe you'll have minimal success, but at the end of the day, when we realize that everything around us and everyone around us is a reflection of us, instead of me having to go to Gabriel to try to change him, if I go to myself, then by changing myself, the only person I have the power to change, Gabriel changes automatically. Like, I remember that there was maybe about a week where I would find that Gabriel kept speaking over me. I'd be talking and all of a sudden he'd kind of cut in, interject, maybe he's excited and saying, yes, and this, and I'm like, I didn't finish my point, but okay. Certain things like that. And I started to get so frustrated with him because I was like, why does he keep doing this? And then I realized, okay, what have I accepted that is now all of a sudden kind of like changed Gabriel's behavior? And when I sat with it, I saw like, okay, you know what? I'm not valuing my words. I don't think I have credibility to speak on certain subjects because Gabriel has more experience than I do. You know, it's like the way I saw myself was that, okay, you know what? Gabriel has more experience, so my words have less value. As soon as I changed, I said, no, I have lots of experience. My words do have value and I deserve to be listened to. That is who I am. All of a sudden, Gabriel's so like patient, letting me speak, asking me questions. What do you think of this? Gabriel changed automatically. I didn't have to ask him anything or say, hey, you know what, my love? This is what you're doing. I didn't have to try to change him. Once I changed how I perceive myself, boom, all of a sudden. And I think that's what we need to remember, you know, not to try to change people, not to try to change external circumstances, but to change, okay, how do I feel? How do I perceive myself? Who am I? And when we change all of that within, that's when everything else around us changes automatically. And like I said, you don't really have the authority to change someone else. And you don't necessarily have the, you know, that power to change everything around you without a lot of work. It's so much easier to say, okay, I only have the power to change myself. And I know if I do that, everything around me is going to change accordingly. And that is one of the most empowering things I've learned in this journey of manifestation.
I just want to add one thing, automatically, and same thing accordingly, but I love the word automatically because it really just, you know, shows you that, oh, okay, all I need to do is just change myself, change how I perceive myself, change how I view myself, change what I think who I am like right now, change that. And the 3D then automatically reflects the new change. It reflects the new change. It's such a beautiful thing. However, we were brought up to try and convince people to change and like, you know, have them own up to their wrongdoing, and of course we were all like, you know, brought up to that. And now we are being introduced to conscious manifestation and who we really are, and we're like, oh my word, so you are telling me that everything that I've experienced was actually a reflection of myself. I'm like, ooh, okay, well, I'm going to take responsibility and I'm going to say that, yeah, sure, but in the same breath, I now know that I can now experience what I really want to see happen tomorrow, next month, and next year. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I am now going to accept that I am the person who has it all. I have it all. I have the money, I have the health, the wealth, and everything. I am the person who has it all. I'm going to make that my news story, and let's see what happens. Now you remain faithful to that, and boom, watch how your 3D now just changes. How it just changes. And you're like, wow, so Neville Goddard was actually right when he said, change your conception of yourself and the world that you live in will automatically change. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change.
Yeah, and that's what I love, you know, when it comes to manifesting a celebrity SP, make sure that you know that you're worthy of that. You know, change your conception of self to say, I'm not below this person. I'm worthy of love from whoever I desire. When it comes to physical health, I'm worthy of being perfectly healthy and I deserve to be perfectly healthy and I am perfectly healthy, and see the world conform like that. Like you said, for the first question, be the person who has it all. Know that you are enabled and empowered and free and worthy to be this version of yourself, and see the world start to change accordingly. For this last one, you know, feel that freedom. Accept that, I am free now. I am free now, and see how the world starts to change automatically in accordance with your desires. Like, I mean, it's our favorite quote for a reason. Because like we said, at the end of the day, everything's a reflection of you. As Gabriel said, maybe it might be a bit daunting or a bit of an ego hit to say like, but I didn't mean to manifest it, and none of us ever do. But then it's also in that same breath so empowering, because you're like, so I can change this. If I created this, I can change it. And it's, I love it so much.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's actually beautiful because we are the creators of our own reality. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Now, the spirit within us is already perfect, all and complete. However, our human experience, of course, we've all been through. All of us have a story. We all went through something that's undesirable, that just was not, good and all that. And that's just part of the human experience. And we really want to, obviously, you don't want to run away from that. You also do not want to, what's that saying goes, like, ignore it, you don't want to ignore that. Just become aware of it, see it for what it is, forgive yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself, have compassion on yourself as well. And when you love yourself, your 3D will love you automatically. The moment you love yourself and you accept yourself, you forgive yourself, you be kind to yourself, you have compassion in yourself, and you're grateful for yourself, your 3D will love you. You will bump into people that say, hey, I know you. You look so familiar. But you'd know that, hey, I don't actually know this person. But the only reason why they know you is because your 3D loves you. That's people, circumstances, conditions, and everything. So self-love is definitely so freeing as well. Because when you love yourself, it's so beautiful, man.
The world loves you back.
Yeah. And then when you love yourself, you now meet your SP or your husband or your wife, and it's so beautiful because when you guys now come together, it's now an explosion of love because you both actually love each other individually, right? So you love yourself and you're not trying to find it from your partner. So you're no longer needy, but you are fulfilled within. And when you're with your partner, it's now a celebration and an explosion of love. And you guys are sharing the love within instead of trying to take it from the other person and trying to change the other person. Now you accept the other person for who they are. Why? Is because you've accepted yourself for who you are. You don't try to change them. You just accept them for who they are. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that self-love, it applies to any relationship you have. You love yourself, you see your worth, and all of a sudden your boss starts to treat you better. And next thing you know, you have a raise, or your colleagues are all of a sudden so friendly to you and you get a free lunch. All of a sudden, people start to respect you differently and they start to treat you differently, and all of your circumstances start to change, and your rent might have been due to go up, but your landlord just sees you as such an amazing tenant, so they're like, you know what, we're gonna keep rent the same. All of a sudden now you have more money to play with than you did before. Like, it's everything changes, not just your romantic relationships. Every relationship that you have is enhanced. And, that's when maybe you'll get your dream car because the car salesman just sees how much love you have for yourself and they love you so much. And now you get this car for such a discount. And now you own your dream car. Like, you never know how things are going to work out. But self-love is definitely something that's very essential to life in general and manifesting anything that we want.
Indeed. And as we're bringing this to a close, I just want to mention that's why we are also sharing and teaching this to our one-on-one clients as well, to fall in love with yourself again, and also to fall in love with the power that is within you, again. Because once you have these fundamentals, in place, nothing can ever stop you or, just sometimes you obviously go through, life, but you'll know that you've accepted yourself, you love yourself, and you're kind to yourself as well, and because we were brought up to judge ourselves, to compare ourselves, but so I just want to say that's the reason why we're teaching this to our one-on-one clients as well. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching with us, you can find all the details in the description below. But this was an awesome question and answer series. Thank you for all your questions. It was really much fun and we enjoyed it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you have any other questions you want us to tackle or to answer, dive into, do please leave it below in the comments. Or if you found value, we love interacting with everyone, so leave a comment, we'll get back to you. We take time to answer essentially all of them, no? And thank you so much for watching.
And thanks so much for watching. It's like an hour now already. It didn't feel like an hour. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, keep smiling, enjoy your blissful day, and thank you.